Hey guys, it's Luke here, your digital concierge at Gramophone. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sonus faber Olympica Nova II, being one of the members of one of Sonus Faber's newest lines of speakers. And as you guys can already see, that's one gorgeous speaker. Being a member of a new collection from Sonus faber, that being the Olympica Nova series, the Olympica Nova II is the smallest floor-standing speaker of the group, but already does so much more in terms of its sound output than its size would lead you to believe. And having the fortune of being a member of one of the newest collections from Sonus faber, this inherits many of the great technologies they develop for their higher line products, such as their Reference series and their Homage Tradition series. Check out our video on the Homage Tradition Amati that we did a little while back as well. That is also one amazing speaker from Sonus faber. But the Olympica Nova II delivers a level of value that I haven't often seen in this industry, giving you aesthetics, sound quality, and a pride of ownership rarely had at this level. So we're going to dive into the Olympica Nova II and find out what the formula to create such a great speaker in its category is. But before we do that, make sure you guys subscribe to the Gramophone channel and click that bell notification icon down below so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming highlights. A lot of great stuff on the way. Now then, the Sonus faber Olympica Nova II, and how to develop a work of art both to the eye and, more importantly, to the ear. Alright guys, so let's talk about the features of the Olympica Nova II and some of the awesome things that Sonus faber incorporated into this speaker that just makes this such a wonderful offering. There are 3 drivers on this speaker, quite obviously making it a 3-way speaker. You have your bass driver, your mid-range, and your tweeter. The bass driver is made out of a blend of cellulose, which has 2 layers on each side, and that sandwiches against a very rigid and very firm foam, thus making this cone very pistonic in its movement, doesn't allow for much flex, but also retains the natural character of the cellulose. Cellulose being a plant fiber that's most closely related to paper, but this is of course paper on a much higher level that lends itself to really good bass output. Moving up, we get to the portion of the speaker that Sonus faber likes to call the voice of Sonus faber, consisting of both the mid-range and the tweeter, given this is the part of the speaker that will project the human voice in all of your recordings that you listen to. One cool thing about Sonus faber mid-ranges at this level is that they all have a bit of a different texture to them. This mid-range is made out of a non-pressed cellulose pulp that is actually a little bit closer to wood pulp. And I find that this mid-range especially lends itself extremely well to wood acoustic instruments and the human voice. Moving up top, we get to a silk dome tweeter, but not just any silk dome tweeter. Notice this little bow and arrow design, or at least that's what they call it in-house over at Sonus faber. But really what this is called is the damped apex dome. And that refers to the fact that the actual silk dome right here has a little contact point formed by this bow and arrow shape at its apex, or its outermost point. That is so that this tweeter can be pushed harder, but it can also deal with any breakup frequencies that would begin to occur. And I think this is a big deal for Sonus faber because, in my personal opinion, that's the most athletic silk dome tweeter I've ever heard. It really does roll with the best metal tweeters while keeping that smooth quality that doesn't lack for detail. The other great feature to talk about in this speaker is the cabinetry itself. Not only is it gorgeous, which I will happily gush about once we get to the design portion, but it's very functional. You guys can see that this has a very lute-like shape to it, almost like a violin. That's because over at Sonus faber they believe that the speaker, which is trying to capture the instrument that was originally played, should in itself be as much like that instrument as possible. And given that most acoustic instruments are built with a shape much like this one, there we go. What you don't see on the inside is the incredible bracing and structural rigidity of this cabinet. This cabinet is nearly inert, and any of that knocking that I do barely, if at all, reaches the inside of the speaker. You have bracing between every driver in the internal portion of this cabinet, and then as we move toward the back of the lute shape, the way they do bass porting on this speaker is especially unique. And rather than just being a glorified hole punched into the back or bottom of the speaker, this is a linear cut made into the back body of the speaker that comes out on an angle and is guided out by a fin array. It gives some of the finest bass control that I have yet to hear in a speaker, and especially in this price category, stands above almost all the others that I've heard. There really is something to be said about intricate cabinet design, because the kind of bass that this speaker puts out, while it may not be earthquake levels of bass, it is so tight, detailed, and on point that it is infectious. And even so, the output that you get from this single 8-inch woofer will surprise you. Another great detail on the inside of the Olympica Nova II is the crossover design. Sonus faber uses really good materials in the build of their crossover, including what they call the clarity cap that they've actually trademarked themselves. The clarity cap is a very, very high quality capacitor, and it's also resistant to outside radio signal interference, so you don't have to worry about any of the mess of our very digital and Wi-Fi connected worlds interfering with the sound quality of your speaker. In this box of parts that they sent us that shows all of the great pieces of the speaker disassembled, that right there is the Sonus faber clarity cap, and I can tell you in the hand, it feels solid. They even give a nice wrap to the capacitor. Even though you'll never see it, they want this to be attractive in its design language. And to give you guys the numbers, this is a 4-ohm speaker rated at an 88 decibel sensitivity, producing a frequency range of 40 hertz to 35,000 hertz. And dare I say that with room gain factored in, you might actually push just a little bit lower than 40 as well. The bass on the speaker is very satisfying, and all the way up through the highs, it's clear but smooth. Alright guys, now let's talk about the design aspects of the Olympica Nova II, and of course we'll start with the basics and cover the dimensions. This is 40.8 inches in height, this is 14.2 inches in width, and this is 16.6 inches in depth. And each of the two speakers weighs 67.6 pounds. So they definitely got some heft to them, but they're not backbreakers. But now for the fun part. This is design, and we're talking about a Sonus faber product, which is pretty much the poster child for design. I mean, just look at it. From the incredible walnut wood veneers, which is also available in a Wenge color as well, also very beautiful. I like both. I don't know which one I choose. They're just so good. To this awesome harp string-like front grille, which I'm pretty sure was inspired by a string instrument, and it just looks so cool. It's the only grille I actually want to leave on a speaker. To the shape, to the finishing accents of the aluminum trim up top, to the full aluminum plate on the bottom, which contains the feet and makes a great structural backbone to the speaker, to even the way that the bass porting is done through the Stealth Ultraflex system with this really cool fin array on the back. This is just classy furniture, man. Not just an amazing speaker, but something that you'll actually proudly want to show off in your home. The walls of this speaker are made from 8 layers of a blended wood, and that's all selected to have the best acoustic characteristics possible. And then it's finished in this lovely veneer, like I mentioned. But look how good this is. I would believe you if you told me that this was hardwood. That's how high quality this veneer is. And that right there says about the most that I think I can about how well Sonus faber is dedicated to the art of crafting a beautiful art piece just as much as they are an amazing sounding speaker. And just a very quick note about compatibility. This is a passive speaker, but it features 4 binding posts, so you can bi-wire this speaker, single wire this speaker with the included bridges, or bi-amp this speaker through separate bi-wiring into 2 separate amplifiers. It is a 4-ohm speaker, as I mentioned before, and that is the nitty-gritty of it. Binding posts that are very high quality and very lovely too, that accept bananas, spades, bare wire, virtually anything that has to do with speaker wire or speaker cable. And the only other thing I'll mention about it is that, keep in mind, this is a $10,000 class speaker and one of the finest in that class. So I would certainly recommend looking into electronics worthy to be paired up to this unit. For $10,000, the Sonus faber Olympica Nova II is actually a bargain, because what it delivers to you at that price is an experience above so many of its peers in this market, and one that is untouchable in the aesthetics department. If you wish to own the apex of visual and auditory beauty that I know all of your friends and family will really love seeing in your home, I present to you the Olympica Nova II. We here at Gramophone are very proud to be able to offer select Sonus faber products in our showrooms, and we'd be delighted to have you stop by and visit any of our showroom locations in Timonium, Columbia, and Gaithersburg, Maryland, and to be able to give you a personal demo of these incredible products. But in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about the Sonus faber brand, please head on over to gramophone.com. You can find us on social media too. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Houzz, and Twitter, as well as a few others. Just check the links down below. If you need help coming up with project ideas, need to schedule a service request, or want to speak to one of our hi-fi, home theater, and interior design experts, get inspired at gramophone.com. Also, ask at gramophone.com if you have any questions for me regarding anything I've covered here on the channel. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, drop a comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to the Gramophone channel for all of your audio and home theater needs. And of course, I want to hear back from you guys. What do you think of the Olympica Nova II? And more so, what do you guys think of the Sonus faber brand? Do you want to come audition some for yourselves? Let me know in the comments. And also, let me know what you guys want to see from us in the future. As always, guys, it's a pleasure doing this for you, and I love having you here. Thank you for watching. Be seeing you.